Hello, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today, we're going to be starting a new game. I'm very excited about it. I heard it's very Danganronpa-esque, so I'm very excited about that. Also, the main character looks just like the protagonist from V3, so we'll see. But I'm very excited to start playing it. It's called Process of Elimination. I don't know much about it, to be honest. I bought it without knowing anything. Just that it has Danganronpa vibes. That's the only reason why I bought it. But yeah, I hope the volume's okay. I kept the same settings from Raincode, but if it's too loud or something, I could go back and change it, but it should be okay, I think. I think we're okay. But anyway, let's start the game. I don't know anything. I haven't seen any, like, gameplay. I don't know if it's purely visual novel or if it's like a mix of something else. I genuinely have no idea. So we're gonna find out. Let's start it. I'm very excited. It's a rainy day in June, with clouds covering the entire nation. The live broadcast of a new gaming release is suddenly disrupted. Huh? Why are there so many hands? Ew. Oh! So, alright, so it's voiced in Japanese. Should I turn it off? How do I even go to the options? I genuinely don't know. That's the backlog. That's the button I push in my Otome games to change. It's going again. So, if it's in Japanese, I feel like if I'm going to be reading it, I don't know if I should turn the voices off. Alright, I'm just going to read. Pardon me, but I'm conducting a quick survey. On one side, a recent grad. On the other, a total shut-in. Who do you despise more? The grad on the left, the shut-in on the right? I don't know. Why is it making me choose? I don't know. Who do I despise more? I don't like this question. I'm scared to pick an answer. I feel like the shut-in is me. Like, it was me at one point. I think there was like a year I barely left the house because of my anxiety was so bad. But I don't despise I'm gonna say the shut-in. I'm sorry. It's okay. I was a shut-in at one point. Thank you for your response. Now, without any further ado, this loathsome shut-in shall disappear before your very eyes. Huh? This individual is hereby condemned to the fate of a quartered doll. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't like this. What just happened? Did I just indirectly kill this person? This is entertainment? What? Hello, dear consumers, and adieu to the consumed. How did it feel, dismembering the rivaled with a simple press of a button? Quite good, no? Downright refreshing, even? No, actually, I hated every second of it. What is this?
自分の価値観に合わないやつは排除するのが一番さ。多数決ってシステムは本当に素晴らしいよね。考えた人は天才だよ。間違いなく天才的なサディストだ。
Yeah, I'm thinking... Sorry, I'm gonna read it, but I'm thinking of turning the voices off, so just for this playthrough, so I can read it. I have no idea how to get to the options menu at this point, though, so I'll figure it out, I guess. It's best to eliminate those who don't share your values. Majority rules, after all. Whatever bloke thought that up was truly a sadistic genius.
一部の反対意見を踏み潰すのにこれほど優れたシステムはないもの。ぐちゃぐちゃに踏みにじって少数派の体液で湿った道を踏み固めれば盤石安泰大安心。
The opposition may be trampled, but there exists no better system. The path to peace must be painted by the blood of the minority. What? What kind of Hunger Games stuff is this? Sorry, I just saw the new Hunger Games movie, so like that's in my head and it's reminding me of this. I'm sorry, I clicked it. Those behind this policy, the eminent among the many, give less thought to the few than they would an ant. I must hand it to them. It's simply ruthless. Okay, here we go. Okay, I figured it out. I'm like, I don't know what button's what. All right, I'm gonna turn off the voice. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna turn off the voice. I know, like, the voice acting is always so good in these games, but, like, for the sake of the playthrough, I'm gonna read it, and obviously I'm gonna pale in comparison to the actual voice actors, who are way better than I am, but it's okay. Oh, don't look at me like that. It was a joke, a joke. I wouldn't want to get cancelled on social media over this. Ah, goodness. This won't do. No, no, no. I've neglected to introduce myself. So sorry. Also, sorry, I'm gonna go back into the options and increase this a little bit. Okay. If it's too loud, I'm sorry, but, like, it was too low for me. I am His Grace. Or is it Your Grace? Let's say Your Grace. The quartering duke, an entertainer come to bring amusement to your world. I'm not clapping. This is disturbing. This is what is this? From now on, every soul in this nation will be provided with entertainment to stir the mind. So please, indulge until you're full to bursting. Should you object to your Grace's choice of recreation, you are invited to try and reveal his true nature. Such a show can't exist without diversity, you see, for this is a clash between tragic, savage carnage and the comical, cultural stylings of justice. Oh, we currently have about 5,000 viewers. Then, for tonight's final act, a question from Your Grace to all our viewers at home. I don't like this. I feel guilty that I chose to kill that guy. Maybe I should have chosen... The individual within the animal suit terrorized his middle school class as the lead bully. Oh, come on, I saved the bully. Ugh. Ugh. I have regrets. I hated that decision right off the bat. But his teachers, whom he sucked up to, favored him. He went places without atoning, using his father's connection to get a job at a major bank. This individual was saved by your first impression. I'm having regrets. I didn't know that they were gonna get killed, like chopped up. With that, I ask, do you still like him? Should over half the viewers say so, I'll release him. I like him. I hate him. I mean, I already killed the other one. I want this guy to live. Like, he's a piece of garbage. But, like, does he deserve to die? Did the other one deserve to die? No. Ay. It seems not even 500 people liked him. A shame. Nothing short of a tragedy. Oh, truly. The sorrow is too much to bear. However, the quartering duke snaps his fingers. That is what makes this the very finest entertainment. Oh my god. Killed him too. Alas, it will soon be time to part ways. As for myself, your duke, that is, I am the enemy of those who mindlessly consume, and a friend to those consumed. Thus, I take my leave. Do enjoy the show. I don't think I will. What is this show? Is this like a live broadcast of the Hunger Games? What is this? The video cuts off at 4 minutes, 52 seconds. As a hacked broadcast, those who ran the website were powerless to stop it. The video, just shy of 5 minutes, is shared across the net, mostly among the youth. But things don't end with that. Not just the broadcasted victims, but others killed in the same manner are soon discovered. The common thread? At least 2 victims are always found at once, with their lock screens set to the symbol of the quartering duke. The police pour all of their resources into investigating the case, but turn up nothing. Pair by pair, more and more bodies surface, until half a year later, over 100 have been killed since that first broadcast. The sheer number of victims and brutality of the murders fling society into chaos. So he's the main character of V3. What was his name? Shuichi? Was that his name? They look exactly the same. They even have the same hair, the same outfit. I'm just saying. I like it though. I like his design. He's the main character, so I'm not gonna give him a special voice. Just gonna be mine. Sorry. The quartering duke. An entertainer? What he's doing is basically a snuff show. I grip my phone tight as I read articles about the murders, speaking aloud despite myself. I've seen the effects of this duke all around me. People are terrified to go outside, and stores have even shortened their hours. What's worse, he's gained some traction among young copycats, taken by his charisma. That's always the danger, isn't it? Ugh. They're always so charismatic, aren't they? Ugh. It's gross. Gives me the shivers, the heebie-jeebies. With the police overwhelmed, small private agencies like mine are in a huge demand. Apparently, even the FBI is getting involved. Oh, so we're also the ultimate detective? Past events had already stoked the need for this line of work, but the Duke has only made things worse. The media jeers at the detective craze. Mr. Gunjoji says the ideal society is a peaceful one, where detectives are starved for work. He may be right about that. As I lay in wait for my mark, I recall my mentor's words and sigh to myself. I work for the Gunjoji Detective Agency. It's probably one of the punnier agencies around, though nowadays we're buzzing with activity. I'm a student, working part-time, but they plan to recruit me once I've graduated. The situation must be getting pretty serious nationwide. Well, yeah, if they're sending out a child into the fray, okay? I don't know, like, is he a high school student or a college student? Either way, a child to me, so... An ideal society has no use for detectives, huh? The thought alone makes me a bit miserable. Is this the reality I faced by all aspiring detectives? Okay, that's enough of that. My worries run wild when I'm on my own. It's a bad habit, but I've got to focus on my work. There he is. My mark is on the move. After a moment's pause, the man clad in a trench coat starts off down the road again. I make sure I'm out of earshot before calling in my report, just as my mentor had instructed. Watto here. The target is on the move. He's headed right where you predicted, Mr. Gunjoji. I'll stay on the lookout for any traps as I continue tailing him. Quieting my steps, I follow the man cautiously. He's our top suspect in the serial pet killer case, and according to Mr. Gunjoji, he may be armed. The serial pet killer? He's just out there killing animals? What kind of sicko? Then again, there's a lot of those sickos, aren't there, unfortunately? Whatever I do, I absolutely cannot allow my presence to be detected. Can I help you? What? Suddenly, the man is right in front of me, and I reflexively take a step back. Did he notice me following him? Despite the cover of darkness and my voice being out of earshot? Huh? Oh, no. I'm all good. I'm, actually running late. Cram school, you know? So, we gotta go. As I try to move past him, the man blocks my path. I doubt you'll make it in time if you keep matching my pace and stopping every time I do. I mean, yeah, you're being kind of obvious. There's no one else on the street. He's gonna notice. Your expression gives everything away. Minus 1 point. Not that you should really be that surprised. You would only stop on a completely empty street like this if you were tailing someone. That, or checking if someone's tailing you. So, the very act of pausing here was a trap. Ugh, how could I make such a rookie mistake? It didn't even register with me. I have no one to blame but myself. What, is this like a test? Is this his Gunjoji? I don't think I'm pronouncing his name right. I've never seen a name like that, so I don't know. You're a fresh face. Who are you? Certainly no detective or policeman, given your noisy, slipshod attempt at shadowing me. No detective? Blood rushes to my face. I've poured everything into becoming a detective. His words sting worse than a slap to the face. There's no way I can just let it slide. Don't patronize me. I'm Watto Hojo, assistant to the Gunjoji Detective Agency. Watto, are you serious right now? Why are you giving it away? What's wrong with you? Why would you be telling him, like, ugh, what are you doing? What do you mean? We already know you've been snooping around here, and that you have a knife. See, so this guy is armed and dangerous, and you're out here like, what do you mean you don't think I'm a detective? I am a detective. This is my full name, and this is where I work. Stupid. That's so dumb. You're suspected of severe animal abuse. Now, come quietly. I'm turning you into the police. This guy's just gonna laugh in your face. What are you doing? I'd hoped the edge in my voice would intimidate him, but the man only lets out an exasperated sigh. I think I'd do that too if a teenager was trying to be. Then again, teenagers scare me. Actually giving out your name? -3 points. I'd -10. That was so stupid. He not only gave his name, but exactly where he works. That's so dumb. This isn't some TV show, kid. Real detectives never reveal their true identities. I bet you can't get enough of those over-the-top crime dramas, can ya? As much as I hate it, he's read me like a completely open book. Yeah, because it's kind of obvious. You're a dum-dum. I can't. The moment a detective reveals himself, it always seems so cool on television. But he's right. Sharing your identity in this line of work is far too dangerous. Something to keep in mind next time. If there is a next time, this guy is supposedly armed and dangerous. Hello? So dumb. I can't. And does the detective's assistant plan to arrest me all on his own? A grown man you fully believe to be armed? Yeah, seriously, hello? Like, why do I agree with the criminal? The man slides his hand into his pocket and readies his stance. He's clearly holding a weapon. This isn't the first time I've gone up against someone armed with a knife, but I still feel my hair standing on end. My heart slams frantically against my ribcage as I freeze up, willing my trembling legs to remain steady. No, I'm not. I know I'm not ready for that. So instead, I called for backup. I just need to buy time until my boss arrives. You can't see me, but I'm literally facepalming right now. Like, what? Why would you... Even if you did call for backup, which I don't think he did, why would you tell him that you're trying to stall for time? That is so... I can't. This guy is like the worst detective ever, and he's gonna solve this mystery that whatever, like, I don't know if it's a killing game we're gonna end up in. I have genuinely not a clue. So, you think you can buy yourself time, Mr. Wannabe Detective? I will. In fact, I have to. One of the pets you killed belonged to a classmate of mine. She's still terrified and traumatized as a result of your prowling about. Being a detective, it's my duty to stop you. At this point, it's going to be his duty to just die. Like, this is not how you go about doing these things. Bringing you to justice is the only way to restore the peace in her life. I'll be damned if I let you escape. I tear off my jacket and wrap it around my left wrist to form a makeshift glove, a guard against his knife. Okay, so you guarded your hand and your wrist, but all of your vital areas are still wide open, like your neck and your chest and your gut. I can't. This guy, oh my god. He's no ultimate detective, that's for sure. In my dominant hand, I grip a pair of handcuffs like brass knuckles. Armed as best I can, I face off with the man. The man just watches me, showing no signs of movement. Yeah, because he doesn't take you seriously at all, and honestly, I don't blame him. Good. He's probably never seen anyone use handcuffs for self-defense before. No, he's probably just never met anyone so stupid. It's only natural he'd be wary. I learned this trick from Mr. Genjoji. What's great about it is that it never fails to catch people by surprise the first time. I need to stall this out, even if it's just for a little while. Keeping this face off is going to be my top priority. The Ikusa School of Arrest Techniques, I take it. Quite the rare fighting style you picked up, boy. Huh? I'm struck speechless. What are the odds he'd know this tactic? I fumble for an answer, but my mind goes blank. paralyzed in the face of an enemy. -5 points. Don't expect odd techniques to faze a man of my age. It would work on your typical criminal, however, and you were quick to adapt when all odds were stacked against you. That's an exemplary quality in a detective. You get 10 points, kid. I see why the chief endorsed you. Yeah, this is a test. This isn't real. But if it were, he would have been dead. He just would have been dead. Seriously. Like, I don't know anything that he did in this whole altercation that was the right thing to do. Listen, I don't know anything about being a detective, but... The man suddenly backs down and speaks with a smile. Wait, what? Is this another trap? Glancing my way, he continues. Sorry for the misunderstanding, but the culprit you've been looking for is the victim's neighbor. I've already handed him over to the police. No job, no comfort, no direction in life, until he became obsessed with the quartering duke and decided to follow in his footsteps. He couldn't work up the nerve to hack people apart, but animals gave him no trouble at all. Disgusting. Who are you exactly? Upon hearing my question, the man pulls what looks to be a tablet out of his pocket. The screen shows a familiar symbol and the words Detective Alliance. The Detective Alliance? I can't help but yell out the name. The Detective Alliance. The very organization I revere more than anything else. That's right. I'm part of the Detective Alliance, the only government-recognized detective organization in the country. And I'm sure an aspiring detective like yourself has heard of it. With all this stuff going on, and these killers that have been going on for the last, half a year, you'd think that they would recognize more detective agencies than just one in the whole country? What are you doing? No wonder there's so many and no one can catch them, because apparently you only have a handful of detectives. Of course, it's a mysterious coalition of 100 renowned detectives that always sends the perfect match for the job. 100's not a lot. Like, clearly you haven't found the person, this Duke person. You haven't found him this whole time. You'd think you'd recognize more than just 100 people. The Alliance has solved every case it's ever had, and each of its members has an alias based on their defining traits. Wait, if this place has solved every single case, why weren't they hired by the government to solve this terrorism? Can you explain it to me? Looks like you know quite a bit about this mysterious coalition, Detective Fanboy. As I calm down, my face begins to burn bright red. I had let my excitement carry me away on a totally nerdy rant. Still, the Detective Alliance has been the dream I've aspired to ever since I learned about it from Mr. Gunjoji. That D-pad you're holding is a hallmark of none other than the Alliance itself. You really are a detective, aren't you? Bingo. Call me Senior Detective. Been in the Alliance for eons, though these days I mostly scout recruits and provide support. Don't tell me. Please don't tell me you're gonna scout this dum-dum. I can't. No, like, I know that it's me that's the main character, but, like, does he deserve to be scouted as one of the 100 best detectives in the whole country? Really? He was so stupid. Still, none of the younger generation can out-investigate me, especially with cases as cold as that pet killer one. As prideful as he sounds, I can tell by his expression that he's speaking purely from well-earned experience. He has an air about him that's unlike anyone I've ever met, the kind that could only come from a member of the Detective Alliance. As secretive as it is, the Detective Alliance has grown more famous by the day, thanks to the recent detective craze. Even now, the news is full of stories about the cases cracked by Detective Alliance members. Then, there's all the terrorist plots in the wake of the Quartering Duke incidents that they've thwarted with almost zero leads. The whole reason I joined a detective agency was to carve a path to earning a spot alongside those detectives one day. Looked up to by detectives far and wide, the Detective Alliance is the absolute paragon for those pursuing justice. I apologize for my rudeness, Senior Detective, sir. Shouting accusations at you when I couldn't be more clueless. That was so dumb. Don't be. I was egging you on after all. No need for the sir either. In our field, the alias itself serves as a title of respect. Though Senior Detective amicably shrugs off my apology, his unshakable calm only makes me warier of where this is going. Then, as if noticing how on edge I look, he continues to speak. I'll cut to the chase. I'm here to scout you. That's stupid. I'm sorry, but no offense, Watto is like, he's not good enough. He made so many mistakes. Just in this one interaction, he's too headstrong and egotistical. Maybe I'll grow to like him more, but so far, meh. We plan to meet at our base of operations to discuss how to handle the Quartering Duke incidents, and we want you to attend. Why? Huh? Yeah, same. Why? I don't understand. I respond lamely, unable to fully grasp what he's saying. I'll say it again. We want you to join our investigation of the Quartering Duke case as a member of the Detective Alliance. Why? Why? He was the worst detective ever. What? The sound I make is so shrill and alien, I scare even myself. I pinch my cheeks to make sure this isn't just some dream. Ow. Nope. Not a dream. Maybe this is Mr. Gunjoji's idea of a prank? No sign of him anywhere, so probably not. Which means this isn't a joke, right? Not at all. We've received direct orders from the government to put an end to the Quartering Duke's reign of terror. A chosen few detectives will convene at HQ to solve this case and take down the most vile homicidal maniac of the century. My mind goes blank again. But if this is real, then my dream is coming true far sooner than I ever imagined. Yeah, this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen. There was so much I could learn, so many accomplished detectives I could meet. Hopefully they're all better than you, because otherwise I have zero faith in any of them. Ideal detectives, like the ones I aspire to be. The kind who could have pretended the tragedy that unfolded before my eyes 10 years ago. Oh, not pretended. I was like, what? Prevented the tragedy that unfolded before my eyes 10 years ago. I'm sure you have a million questions, but I want to hear what you intend first. Will you join us at the table and help stop the Quartering Duke? Why? Why do you want to recruit this kid who made so many mistakes thinking you were a killer and just, he's not good. Oh my god, he's no Kirigiri, okay? No Shuichi. That's his name, right? I can't remember his name. Sorry. It's been a long time since I replayed V3. Give me your answer. Yes or no? How can I hesitate? I state my intentions loud and clear. Yes or yes. Look at this beautiful choice that I have. The illusion of a choice. The moment I try to answer, Senior Detective's arm hooks around my neck and begins to squeeze like a vice. Huh? It It's so tight I can't breathe. I flail and kick frantically, but all I hit is the air and the ground below my feet. I feel a prick as a slender needle pierces the skin of my neck. Oh, okay, if this is all a trap, that makes a lot more sense. Because why would this renowned detective agency be recruiting this silly goose? I can't. But if this is a trap set up by the Duke and this guy is just like an actor or something and he's going to be put into this game of killing, I don't know. That would make more sense than him actually being recruited by this prestigious detective organization when he sucks at being a detective. Ugh. What feels like liquid ice begins to pump through my veins. My skin turns pale, my limbs grow numb, and my strength fades. My vision blurs, and as my legs start to give out, I sag against the man restraining me. And then, as if the stars have been swept from the night sky, everything goes black. While it's true that I asked, there was never actually the option to refuse. For you see, you have a duty to attend. The Detective Elimination Project. Ooh, that's interesting. That makes more sense. Because there's no way a little rookie like him who made all those mistakes would be like, yes, we want you to help solve this act of terror that has been completely terrorizing the entire country for over 6 months. I haven't felt this way in a long time. My consciousness drags sluggishly, as if I'm trapped in thick mud, helplessly sinking deeper and deeper. As much as I try to shut it out, the traumatic nightmare pulls me in once again. In my dream, I'm running down a dark, frigid corridor, holding on tight to the hand of a girl my age. Watto, I can't run anymore. You need to go on without me. You have to escape. What are you saying, Saika? We're getting out of here together. I made a promise, didn't I? But my legs... The girl is beautiful, with bewitching black hair, pure white skin, and light purple eyes reminiscent of hydrangeas. I remember nothing else about her, but I'm sure that at the time, she was very precious to me. And then, right before my eyes, a blade swings down and slashes her, covering her in a burst of red. Saika, why? I clutch onto her before she can collapse and face the criminal that did this to her. What the heck is that? This is clearly Watto's memories and he doesn't really remember. The massive, unmistakably inhuman silhouette emits a strange, mechanical whir. Excuse me. Its murderous intent is nearly enough to pierce through flesh as it focuses on me. I prepare to die as no more than a child. But at that moment... Oh, Watto. The girl in my arms strains to get the words out as her voice begins to fail. I might escape if I leave her and run. But maybe I can still save her. There's no way I can just abandon her. You have to live, become the hero who will save everyone. No. That's all I can remember. My memory cuts out completely, as if the next page has been torn out. However, since I'm alive, it's obvious what came after. I traded Saika's life to save my own. This was the mass kidnapping and confinement incident I was in a decade ago. The reason I became a detective. A shadowy organization took 16 children and locked them in an underground prison for a month, never to be caught. 16, just like in Danganronpa, there was 16 of them. Am I supposed to just live with the sacrifices that came out of that? Like Saika? I was too incompetent to save even one girl, but I refuse to leave it there. My heart and soul demand to see it through. I will become a great detective, a hero, and one day I'll reveal the truth behind what happened 10 years ago. Yeah, I have a bad headache. Okay. Oh. I finally come to. My eyelids are so heavy. Just opening them is an undertaking. That was one long dream. It was one I've had countless times before. Of that fateful day I swore I'd become a detective. That incident remains unsolved to this day. What really happened all those years ago? As a survivor, the vague testimony I provided didn't help much. The case has gone cold for 10 years now. I've got to find the truth, to track down the villain who killed Saika, the girl I owe my life to. That's why I entered this line of work. But that aside, my whole body is aching right now. My mattress feels like a rock and it smells like rust. I managed to pry my eyes open, but everything is pitch black. What's more, I can't even move. Are they on a boat? My limbs are restrained like I've been wrapped in some kind of sleeping bag. Sounds a bit like waves. I could be wrong, though. Don't tell me I'm trapped in here. What's going on? Mustering all my strength, I try to worm my way out. Suddenly, my vision is flooded by a bright light. Huh? Whatever restrained me slackens as my own momentum forces me upright. The sight I'm met with is a forest? That's what he's just said, a forest. Like, what? I thought I heard waves this whole time. Like, I'm hearing waves. It's just me? And that sound, are those ocean waves? Lush woodland lies before my eyes. Beneath me is an old, rusty locker. Guess that's what I'd been stuffed in just a second ago. Ouch. My whole body's killing me. How long was I crammed inside this thing? Wasn't Shuichi also in a locker at the beginning of V3? I'm just saying. Who would do this to me? And why? When did I even get here? What the heck is going on? My head swirls in confusion as I try to recall what happened last. That's right. I met that old man, senior detective, and then I don't know if he actually was senior detective. I think it's a big lie. But you're pretty gullible and also the worst detective ever, so I doubt you would even think that he could possibly lie to you. The haziness clears as I begin to remember. I was suddenly attacked by Senior Detective and eventually lost my consciousness. He claimed to be part of the Detective Alliance, but maybe that was just a bluff? Clearly! Wait, if he was lying about being part of the DA, that means the pet killer is still at large. I've got to get back, ASAP! I reached to grab my smartphone, but after a frantic search, I realized that my front pockets have been emptied. Have they been, like, thrown onto a deserted island and are gonna fight to the death? I don't know. I don't know the plot of this game, other than Danganronpa vibes. As I continue searching my person, I notice an unfamiliar weight in my back pocket. That's weird. I don't normally keep stuff back there. Suspicious, I carefully pluck the foreign object from my pocket. It's a tablet device, like an oversized smartphone, more or less. Is it oversized if it fit in your back pocket? I'm just saying. How oversized could it be if it fits in your back pocket? I mean, the back pocket fits the phone. Would it fit an iPad? No? Sorry, I'm thinking that has nothing to do with anything. The moment I see it, though, a chill runs down my spine. No way. Is this... I lift it up, touching the buttons out of habit. Then a notification appears. Authentication successful. Good morning, Wato Hojo. Seems you got your iPad working. Oh, D-pad. Sorry. Sure, you were drugged, but sakes alive, boy. What? What does that mean? Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But sakes alive, boy? What the heck does that mean? Out cold for 3 days straight, -1 point. Oh, this is what's his face. As the tablet comes to life, a familiar voice emanates from its speaker. This is Senior Detective, the agent who brought you here. We met 3 days ago, though to you, I suppose it'd feel like it only just happened. Wait, I was out cold for 3 days? So, Senior Detective's the one reaching out to me. I knew I recognized his voice from before. Still, his tone is pretty nonchalant for a kidnapper. I can't help but feel irritated. While I'm certain you think I've deceived you, you are in fact the newest member of the Detective Alliance. If you doubt me, view the detective roster on your D-pad. That electronic device you know is a trademark of the Alliance. It could all be a ruse. Like, is this how they determine the best detective among detectives who they're going to recruit? They put them all into an arena, make them fight to the death? As an official member of the Alliance, your personal information should already be recorded in the database. I open up the tablet and look through the roster he mentioned. There, I find my profile, beginning with my full legal name. Yeah, because you gave it to him when you introduced yourself as a detective. Wato Hojo, detective rank, number 100. Yep, that's me. It even lists details only Mr. Gunjoji would know, like my skills and work experience. How do I look at the... Is there a way to, like, look at the keywords? Because when I play Otome games, I always push this button. No, it's not working. There's no way to look at it? Okay, I guess not. Ouch. My special skill is housework? I'm no great detective, sure, but that's a low blow. I wonder what else is on here. Nothing wrong with being good at housework, okay? It lists other detectives' ranks and aliases too? Not to mention intel and investigation statuses on recent? What? Recent atrocities. From the latest incidents all the way back to before I was born, it's a robust selection of key documents about cases infamous to the public. Far too much for one person to read, frankly. Clearly, because you don't seem to like to read anything. Even at a glance, most of the content seems to be highly technical in nature. This is way too much effort for a prank. Meaning the DA really did recruit me? Can I trust what Senior Detective says? I don't know, maybe they recruit everybody and they're looking for only one out of all of them to go back and be a detective. I don't know. Such a headache right now, I'm so sorry. So, I've actually been recruited by the Detective Alliance? This isn't a joke, right, Senior Detective, sir? You're listening to a recording at present. An emergency came up. So I've hidden you in the woods while I go to address it. What? Ah, so that's how it is. I assumed this was a phone call, but I guess that's not the case. The device's settings must have been configured to play this voice message as soon as it finished authenticating. When you're ready, open the map on your D-pad. Then, make your way through the woods and head for the manor at the peak. Once there, you should soon meet the others. I promise to head over myself once I'm able, so just wait for me in front of the manor. Oh, and one last thing. Do not, under any circumstances, enter the structure you'll see along the way. Unauthorized entry will result in a far worse than subtraction of points. Follow my orders like your very life depends on it. It probably does. Senior Detective speaks without a pause. The moment he's finished, the sound cuts out abruptly. I stand there in a daze, holding the tablet, my new D-pad, in one hand. I lift my head and peer through the tree line, making out the shape of a mountain with an imposing manor resting on its summit. Is that the building Senior Detective was referring to? I wonder. I'm sorry, my patience with Watto is running thin. While I don't fully trust him, my options are limited. Pressed for choice, I open up the map application on my tablet. Morgue? That's ominous. Various graphics appear on the screen, displaying the surrounding area. All the blue surrounding everything must be the ocean, which means I've been taken to a remote island. Morgue. Is that the name of this place? Never heard of it. Could I be in a foreign country or something? Either way, getting all gloomy won't solve things. I use my fingers to zoom in on the map, hoping to find more info to go off of. The screen displays my current location and a few details about the vicinity. That's where I am, the red dot, the lab, and the Gormenghast. What is that? Just as Senior Detective said, there seems to be some sort of manor atop the peak, plus another structure near the tree line. Without any other clues to guide me, I decide to follow Senior Detective's instructions for now. Oh, I need to register my detective alias on here. But I'm so sorry. Just when I think the cough is getting better, it comes back tenfold. It's so annoying. Anyway. But I don't have any talents. And I definitely regret putting something random. Nope. I've got nothing. Wow. Can't even think of a name for yourself. The tablet hums quietly as I trek on. Before long, I see a parting in the trees. I'm guessing this is the lab. A massive heliport stretches before me. To its right sits a relatively small 3-story building. Though it blocks my line of sight, I assume that the manor is just up ahead at the top of the hill. This structure here must be the one Senior Detective warned me against entering. It's not like I really trust the guy, so I'm admittedly a bit curious to sneak a peek inside. But as soon as a thought crosses my mind, a sudden sense of unease washes over me. On my tablet's map, I see numerous circular icons displayed within the building's walls. Are those bodies? Are those just dead bodies in there? And not just a handful either. Dozens of icons crowd around like ants swarming over food. Judging by my own marker on the map, I think these icons are all people? But if that's the case, what does this mean? Yeah, but your marker is red. Theirs is gray, so that makes me think it's a bunch of dead bodies in there. My apprehension refuses to die down. I get the sense that going in there would only lead to regret, just as Senior Detective had warned. I need to decide my next step carefully. I mean, he said don't go in there. I will ignore it and head to the manor or enter the building. So the detective guy, he was like, you can't go in there. Don't, you go right to the manor, don't go in there. So I feel like if I enter the building, I'm going to get a bad end or something. But like, I'm also curious. Like, I'm wondering if I could save. Maybe save really quick. And then possibly go back later? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm not good with making decisions, clearly. I can barely decide what I want to eat for dinner, okay? I'm gonna... So sorry, I can't stop coughing. Okay. Ignore it and head to the manor is, I think, what we're supposed to do. But because he said don't ignore everything else. I'm gonna ignore it. Maybe I'll go back. I don't know. I decide to do as senior detective suggested and make my way toward the manor at the peak of the mountain. My mentor always chided me for being so rash. Maybe I wouldn't have been abducted if I had just waited for him like I was supposed to. What's more, I get this deep feeling of dread whenever I look at the buildings to the right of the heliport. Yeah, because I think there's just dead bodies in there. I should follow Senior Detective's advice, especially considering that he must have a better way. A way... What? Have a way... What? Sorry, I'm reading that wrong. Have a way better grasp of the situation than me. There we go. What is this place, really? This island? I make my way up the mountain, quietly grumbling to myself when suddenly... What was that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's dead bodies in there. I knew it. I knew it. Of course. Sorry, if I have to pause, it's because I constantly need to drink water, because otherwise I'm going to cough like crazy. Okay. A chill runs down my spine. I quickly turn to look behind me, but the only thing in sight is that building. I get the strange feeling that going there would have had irrevocable consequences for me. Yeah, probably. My uneasiness lingers, but I turn my back and keep going in spite of it. I continue up the twisting mountain path for about 15 minutes, until, at last, I arrive at the manor door. It was a gentle incline, but I'm still spent. I wearily take a seat, resting my back against the outside wall of the manor. It's the exact kind of settling you'd expect in any mystery novel. The manor's exterior speaks to its age and smells faintly of lumber. During my approach, I could only gasp at the structure's imposing beauty. Upon closer inspection, I notice its windows are constructed from an unnaturally thick glass, impossible to break or peek through. I stand up and circle the perimeter, but there don't appear to be any points of entry aside from the front door. If anything, it seems like it was built to house prisoners, not residents. This definitely isn't your average manor. What on earth could be awaiting within? I slow down and catch my breath. My hand is damp. What? I'm sorry. My hand is damp with sweat as I turn the knob of the manor's only entrance. A loud clank rings out as it swings open with ease. The interior seems normal enough. Am I just overthinking things? I ask weakly as I take a step inside. As soon as I let go of the knob, the door closes on its own. Not one moment later... What was that? Huh? A sharp pain suddenly erupts in my head, causing me to stagger involuntarily. A shadow at my feet expands rapidly. My spine tingles as I feel something rush quickly toward me. Without even a moment hesitation, I kick out and leap to the side. However, something slams hard against the back of my skull. The impact sends me flying. My vision swims, my mind already fading. I find myself unable to stand. Then, the world fades to white. What just happened? What was that? What? Somebody's talking, but I can't hear them. Yo guys, this chump ain't waking up. How about I kick him around a bit? I need to not do that voice. I'm sorry. Like, I want to do that voice, but I physically, right now, at the current moment in time, I'm a little bit sick and I can't do it because just doing that one line made me want to burst into a coughing fit. I can't. Don't be so violent, Rowdy. I don't know what voices to do because I don't know who it is. I hear voices nearby. I totes side with doleful here. Violence is so not cool. Why don't we just dump a bucket of water on him instead? That idea is just as extreme downtown. Let's try to consider our options rationally. Mayhaps his vital organs are unresponsive. I shall administer a cardiac massage at once. No need for that. I think he's waking up. Oh, they're cute! I open my eyes, but my vision is blurred. The dizzying pain in my head is unbearable. There's a constant ringing in my ears, and my body won't move an inch. A wave of nausea comes over me, but I manage to stop myself from groaning. What happened? I vaguely recall being hit by something the moment I stepped into the manor. Uh-oh, there goes my voice. I wanted to keep playing, but this part might have to be shorter than I intended, solely because of my voice it's leaving me. At last, my vision finally clears up. Does it? Because everyone's blurry again. Who are you people? When my eyes refocus, I met with several unfamiliar faces and a sturdy rope binding me. I'm tied up, surrounded by a group of strangers. What in the world is going on? Yeah, you lousy intruder! A girl in a sports jacket grabs me by the throat, glowering menacingly. She looks to be in her early teens, but her strength is incredible. I can't get a peep out while trapped in her iron grip. Early teens? Like 14, 13 years old? Girl. Sorry, I'm just old now, so 14 seems like a baby to me. You got some stones, jumping on us on our home turf. Who are you spying for? Huh? Calm down, rowdy detective. He's cute. I like him in the wheelchair. He's so cute. Yeah, to hell with that. This Jamok might have off some of our own. Plus, he won't even give us an answer. I ain't just gonna let that slide. Girl? He can't give you an answer when you're strangling him. Well, he can't talk if you're actively choking him now, can he? I don't know who's talking. Huh? Crap. Oh, you've got a point. Techie detective. Sorry, intruder. My bad. 100%. The girl in the sports jacket lets me go, then immediately falls to her knees, touching her head to the floor as she apologizes. Okay, that's extreme. It's okay. You don't need to grovel about it. I'm still in the dark here, but I get that you have every reason to suspect me. That checks out. But it don't make it right. One bad turn deserves another. So come on, hit me. No way am I gonna do that. Besides, I can't. I'm all tied up. So just please stop bowing. I have literally no idea what's happening. Who are all of you? What is this island? What's going on around here? As I ask the so-called rowdy detective my questions, the boy in the wheelchair approaches us. I take it you aren't here on your own volition. You say you aren't informed on the situation, right? Yeah. All I know is that senior detective brought me here. Senior detective? The boy called techie detective ups his chin in thought. I checked your eyes to verify you were unconscious. We'll just assume it wasn't a self-induced ruse for now. But senior detective bringing you to HQ? That doesn't sit well with me. Where do you fit in with the rest of us? What do you have to do with the Quartering Duke investigation? Genuinely, I have no idea what he has to do with anything. Earth techie detective? Ow! Oh, sorry. I was lost in thought. Rowdy detective pokes techie detective, snapping him out of his trance. He dips his head in apology. Is everyone just gonna have the alias? Is that what this? I'm gonna have to call him techie and her rowdy? I can't. Can I know their names? I'm as confused as ever right now. But I have heard of these two detectives before. Does that mean that all of them are... Anyway, should we let the guy loose? Keep grilling him while he's all tied up and people are gonna think we're into this kind of stuff. Hold on, downtown detective. Oh no, that's this. Okay. I'm trying to decide what voices to give these characters because I don't know anything about them. Huh? What? Sorry, it's just, we should wait a bit longer, I think. The trendy girl responds with indignation, causing the frail boy to tear up. Nevertheless, he doesn't back down. Our enemy wields a deadly poison that can kill over 20 people. If this is him, he could wipe us all out just by scattering a trace amount of it. Freeing him without at least a pat down would be far too dangerous. Oh yeah. Guess I got a little antsy there. My bad. Even though her idea got rejected, the trendy girl called Downtown Detective laughs as if nothing happened. Thanks, doleful detective. No wonder you're number 14. Mad props. Nonsense. I'm just paranoid. Still, I don't want any more victims like all those people in the research facility. If anything, we need to be overcautious. The somewhat androgynous youth speaks with a voice full of fear. Victims like those in the research facility? The comment catches my attention, but now isn't the time to be asking questions. Instead, I hold my tongue and continue to watch in silence. Who are you? What are you? Fear not, Sir Doleful Detective. Even should his intentions prove nefarious, I, Armor Detective, swear to protect you. Is this seriously going to be all their names? Can I just learn their names? The armored man rests one hand on the youth he called Doleful Detective and the other on Downtown Detective. Thanks, Armor. Physical exertion is a lot for me, so I appreciate it. Though the boy smiles at Armor Detective, Downtown detective waves off the gauntlet, looking utterly repulsed. Yeah, no. I'm good. You're like suffocating me. Would you back off, number 32? I like her. Oh, you recall my rank. Despite mine being the only one here that is lower than 30, my heart is stirred. I swear on my life to protect you. And yet here is Watto, who's number 100. Makes sense. He's kind of dumb. Ugh. Take a hint. How annoying can you get? Armor detective happily strides closer to downtown detective. He doesn't seem to notice the look of genuine disgust on her face. Yeah, that's because he can't see. He can't see out of the armor. Moving on. We should touch base with the chief of our D-pads. We're lucky our device's signals allow us to communicate from the manor to the research facility. A man who looks like a corporate employee joins the conversation. He holds a familiar tablet-like device in his hands, a D-pad, the trademark of the Detective Alliance. My heart beats fast in spite of myself, as I guess the nature of my company. Thanks, workaholic detective. You're always so quick on your feet. Oh, adulting 101. Plan, do, check, act. As for our sleeping beauty here, I got in touch with the chief, and he's indeed a fellow member of the DA. To be safe, I'd like to confirm with you directly. This is no mistake, right? Right. No mistake about it, though I only just got my D-pad. Honestly, I'm completely new to this. Everything clicks into place as I speak with the man referred to as Workaholic Detective. Please, can we get some names? I knew it. They really are a part of the Alliance. And these aren't just any average members. They're so famous, even a nobody like me knows of them. Like, why are their aliases like Workaholic and Rowdy? Why can't their alias be something cool? Like a name, an actual name. There could only be one possible reason why a group of detectives like this would be gathered here. It was the same thing I had been brought for, to discuss how to handle the Quartering Duke. They're all here for that meeting, no doubt. The only question that remains is, why would a new recruit who lacks even a proper alias be here at the Detective Alliance HQ? Were you also invited to participate in our discussion regarding how to deal with the Quartering Duke? Yes, the senior detective explained it to me. Oh, that's right. I have my own D-pad too. So the one in your shirt pocket really was yours. Oh, my apologies. I took the liberty of searching you. What? When? When you were unconscious, obviously. Come on. I don't know how, but Workaholic Detective is clearly holding my device. The fact that he could swipe it without my noticing is terrifying. Oh, did he search him while he was awake? Never mind then. Now then, if you would allow me to borrow your hand for just a moment. Workaholic Detective grabs my hand to bypass the D-pad's fingerprint authentication, navigating to the message application with practical ease. He seems to be checking my invitation to the Quartering Duke meeting, which I had been reading just before I fell unconscious. I see. Oh, it's the exact same message as the one I received. It appears you truly will be joining us. Relief washes through me as Workaholic Detective smiles. But it doesn't last long. That being said, anyone capable of infiltrating this island would have no trouble faking a simple email. No, listen, Wato's not smart enough for that. He's not. Workaholic detective's smile turns grim. His piercing gaze cuts right through me, making my body flare up with goosebumps. Heh, making lousy knockoffs, eh? You're asking for a one-way ticket to hell, pal. Courtesy of my fist. You don't give off that unique presence the rest of us detectives have. Just who are you? We lack sufficient data for any conclusions. For now, we have no choice but to keep him under surveillance until we can find out more. The other detectives watch me warily. Their eyes make it abundantly clear that they're on high alert. I completely understand why they suspect my exceptional circumstances, but that doesn't make their looks sting any less. Dwelling on doleful detective's unsettling remarks earlier leads me to wonder what happened to the Detective Alliance. Look, being on edge won't help us at all, so why don't we just, I don't know, bring him along? We still gotta find Old Man Senior, so it's not like we have time to just stand around arguing. Our minds are as one, Lady Downtown Detectives. I fully concur. Let us treat him as a compatriot until more evidence appears. Ugh, our minds are miles apart, weirdo, but whatevs. Call me an airhead, but I'm with Armor on this. I think it'd be chill to take him with. Besides, I know my mystery stories. Splitting up would be like total suicide. Mystery stories, you say? Techie Detective smiles wryly as Rowdy Detective grabs the rope tying me up. Yeah, Downtown's got the right idea. Rowdy Detective tears my restraints apart as if they're made of paper. I can now move freely, except for my bound hands. But still, what raw physical strength. It's hard to believe a girl smaller than me can be so powerful. Mistrust in each other is exactly what the Quartering Duke wants. So for now, I'll trust you two. I wish you'd asked before acting, but at the least I do agree with the notion. My search didn't turn up anything suspicious. Until further notice, you'll be coming with us. Seeing as this is a race against the clock, I'll have to catch you up as we move along. Thank you. The detectives head out one after another. Now that the mood has lightened up a bit, I can't help but let out a sigh of relief. I've seen plenty of suspects getting interrogated in mystery novels and shows, but never did I expect to be the one in the hot seat. I can't, that noise, that constant I can't read with that in my ear. Life sure keeps you on your toes. That reminds me, what should we call you, intruder? You don't have a detective alias yet, right? This is your chance to pick one. Well, my name is... I barely stopped myself from answering Downtown Detective with my real name. Seriously? Now you're realizing you're not supposed to use your real name, meanwhile the one you thought was a killer who had a weapon, you were like, my name is Wato Hojo. I'm this, I work here. Come on. Keeping your name secret is the first rule of the Detective Alliance. It could be deadly for your identity to get out between cases. That's why, upon joining the DA, members are given a one-word code name based on a defining characteristic of theirs. That's kind of silly. So can I just be Dum-Dum? That code name is known as a detective alias. I've longed to have one of my own ever since Mr. Gunjoji told me about them. My detective alias is... Despite my yearning for one, it's hard to think of anything on the spot. I have no experience, skills, or defining characteristics. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't even begin to guess why I was let into the Detective Alliance. Me neither. I also have no idea why. What? Is that hard? You're older than me. Shouldn't you, have more life experience? Seriously, dude. I can't even with you. Sorry. This is really embarrassing. Well, let's think of one together. What are your skills? Anything you're good at in the cases you've been on so far? I'm good at finding cats. They like me. My God. Downtown Detective gives a deep sigh. My amateur status fills me with shame. Alrighty then. How about we call you Incompetent Detective? I can agree. This is a name I can agree with. Also, it reminds me of Makaru calling Yugi incompetent all the time. What? So now I'm incompetent. That's amazing. Because I wholeheartedly agree. Now that's just cruel. You might as well be saying I'm good for nothing. I mean, not that it isn't true, but still. I'd obviously prefer a different name, but before I can object... Hey, everyone. Until we think of something better, this here is Incompetent Detective, okay? Nice and humble. Fitting for a young gun itching to find his place in the world. I see. So it's a caricature of your traits, in the same vein as doleful and workaholic. Right. You're one of us now, Incompetent. I love it. A name with which we can call upon your aid deepens our bonds. I am at your service, Sir Incompetent. I'm picking on the new guy. Takes me back. So everyone here is like a child except this guy, probably. Incompetent Detective rapidly gains the approval of the rest. So rapidly that it's too late to dispute it, much to my chagrin. Aw, don't look how fast your new name caught on. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Incompetent. It doesn't make me happy at all. Despite my protests, Downtown Detective ignores me, flashing a devilish smile. Thus did I become Incompetent Detective, an official member of the Detective Alliance. What is that noise? I don't like it. A bright red carpet covers the floor, and landscape paintings adorn the walls of the corridor. Such a bad headache. I'm so sorry. I can't. Like, the scraping is making it worse. I need to take my headphones off. The detectives explain the situation as we walk down the passageway. The scent of the roses on display around us drifting in the air. This location to which you've been brought is an island that doesn't appear on any map. The DA's used it as a base of operations for years. It has two buildings, a research facility for investigation support and gear development, and Gormancast, a manor for overnight stays. The original plan was for everyone to discuss the situation in the manor. We were to review dioramas of various quartering Duke cases. That was the plan? Rowdy Detective suddenly punches the wall beside her, causing the other nearby walls to tremble from the impact. When we got here, a bunch of detectives from HQ had been snuffed out by poison. All 22 members of the research facility gone. All 22 of them? Every hair on my body stands on end at the unthinkable news. Even among history's more infamous mass murders, few had a death toll of more than 20. Killing 22 people at once is beyond all reason. The culprit piled their bodies at the facility's entrance as if they were naught but rubbish. Such savagery is no less than inhumane. Seeing that heap of corpses would have killed your appetite big time. Competent, you know. And the poison gas filling the room would have killed you, for real. Lucky you didn't go in there, huh? A heap of corpses. Just imagining it makes me feel faint. And that's not even taking the deadly gas into account. Maybe Senior Detective knew about that gruesome scene, so he sent me straight to the manor instead. That would also explain why he hid me in the forest and went off on his own. I need to find him soon and thank him for keeping me safe. It was another Quartering Duke attack, right? We're not sure yet. For how many deaths there were, the clues are awfully scarce. Quartering Duke cases always result in 2 concurrent victims. This crime would appear to have been a different modus operandi. Heh! The Quartering Duke did him in. No doubt. If I catch that bastard skulking around the island, I'ma clean his clock. It's said that the Quartering Duke has killed over 100 people, but even that was over the course of half a year. On the other hand, murdering 22 people at once, all of them first-rate detectives no less, could hardly be the work of an amateur. I get the impression that he commits grisly deeds for the thrill of it, but otherwise, his identity is a complete mystery. We began our investigation at the research facility, but then the Chief's D-pad received a message from a surviving Alliance member. Techie Detective draws out his own D-pad and plays an audio file. The Senior Detective... Some attack research facility... all dead. I... hiding in... Gorman cars. Help. That's my attempt at a disrupted broadcast. The recording cuts off there. Although the sound was low and full of static, even I could grasp what it signified. That's Senior Detective's voice, isn't it? He's alive then. Thank goodness. Yes, I'm certain that's him. Making it through the situation unscathed. It's no wonder he's a legend among detectives. Is he really that incredible? You know the Dayless Night incident? It still shows up on the news. Not only did he solve it, he also found he was also founding member of the DA. Skipped a choice. Oh, I'm trying to see if I can click on the keyword to read more about it, but I can't. The Dayless Night incident? Even school textbooks talk about that case. And you're saying he cracked it? I was a kid then, so I don't remember much. But it was the worst terror attack in national history, sparked by a religious movement. From that event onward, criminal atrocities swept the nation, which is part of why Detective Alliance was formed. Solving a case of that magnitude would absolutely qualify him as a legend. Originally, we'd split up from the other detectives and headed to the manor to reconvene with Senior. Soothly? Soothly, it must be a villain most foul for even Sir Senior to be forced into hiding. We must hasten his aid forthwith. Okay. Huh? You mean there are other detectives here besides you guys? For sure. There's like, what, 6 more investigating the research facility? It's like a detective BOGO sale in there. LMAO. Ew, that's so cringy. Okay, girl, please. I don't quite get what she means by that, but I guess it's a lot of detectives. I'm still reeling from the heinous murders we have yet to unravel, but at least now there's a glimmer of hope. I believe we've searched every room, but there's no sign of Senior. Maybe the culprit arrived here before we did? Senior would have realized that and escaped. If the message was intercepted, the culprit could have easily gotten ahead of us. Oh yeah, I can see that happening. It took us, what, 10 minutes to get here? But there's only one path from the facility to here, and it's surrounded by sheer cliffs. There's no one could escape without us noticing. Maybe they didn't escape, maybe they're still here. Feeling dizzy, okay. The detectives process the situation with impressive speed. I'm barely keeping up as I struggle to understand what it all means. Downtown's casual chit-chat is about the only thing that makes any sense to me. This room doesn't get wireless internet either. Ugh, why bother having a phone then? Ugh, this is such a major bummer. Even if there were a router here, I doubt it would do you any good. Oh yeah? Why? 'Cause the island's off the grid? Not exactly. I tried connecting to a wired network in the research facility, but I couldn't get it to work at all. I made another attempt here at the manor a moment ago, but that failed too. The island's communications antenna must be down. But our D-pads can still link up to each other, right? What's the diff between that and our smartphones? Well, the D-pads have a unique communication system. As part of the R&D team, I must say it's truly amazing tech. Basically, it works by... Okay, we get it. So I can't even like chat with my followers while we're here. Ugh, would this be any lamer? I prefer to see this as an opportunity for us fellow detectives to deepen the bonds of our camaraderie. Yes, it can. That scent! You gotta be kidding me! Rowdy detective starts crawling on all fours like a dog right at the entrance of the room. Why? She presses her face to the carpet with a sharp expression on her face. What's wrong, Rowdy? Blood. I can smell it. Huh? Silence fills the room. The others all turn to look at Rowdy. Nearly missed it thanks to all that rosy smelling red carpet. But the floor's got blood on it. See? From the entrance to them flowers. Rowdy detective approaches an empty vase and sticks her hand in, pulling out a bloody knife. Somebody's dead already? Bingo. Don't know which poor mug's sauce this is, but I'll tell you one thing. Some goon was on the loose in here. How did you even notice the smell? The blood is already dry. Been hunting with my old man since I was little. I've got the nose of a bloodhound, eyes of a hawk, ears of a rabbit, and a raw macho spirit. Okay. I'm not so convinced that helping on hunting trips would give you those kinds of abilities, but it's astonishing nonetheless. Rowdy, that knife wasn't used here, was it? Yep. Nothing in this room but traces and stains. Guessing they only came by to hide the knife. I could track the scent, but the hall's chock full of roses. It ain't gonna be easy with the smelling up the place. I figured as much, but that said... Techie, why do you have an alternative method? Of course. I go by this alias for a reason after all. Techie Detective proudly pulls a cute little machine that resembles a puppy out of his pocket. This is my tracking forensic friend, Sniffy Whiffy. Okay. The Alliance helped me develop him. He can tirelessly trace down any scent he registers, and his prime directive is to save lives. Furthermore, he has small rubber treads to cover tricky terrain without disturbing the scene, and can move up to 15 kilometers per hour. He's also equipped with a transmitter so you can monitor him from D-pad. Plus, he uses the same lithium-ion batteries at the International Spa. Yes, that's all very impressive. We'd love to hear more about it later, but for now, why don't we start tracking? Oh, right. Sorry. I got a little carried away when I talk about my inventions. Clearly. Techie Detectives returns to reality, hanging his head in shame. Oh, don't be mean to him. Let him talk about what he's passionate about. Now, let's not waste any time. Use this tool. He's not a tool. This is my friend. Don't just treat him like some piece of equipment. Workaholic Detectives bows several times in apology for misspeaking. True to his name, he's the very picture of a harried office worker. Techie Detective may seem calm and collected, but careless remarks about his inventions are a clear sore spot of his. I'd better watch my words. Sorry, everyone, for blowing up like that. Let's get to tracking that scent. Techie Detective calms down, setting his dog-like tracking machine, Sniffy Whiffy, loose near the bloodstain. Sniffy Whiffy scoots across the floor, just like a real dog. He circles around a couple of times, then thumps into the room's door. Oh, he's on the hunt. Let's open the door and see where he goes. I open the door and Sniffy Whiffy darts out of the room, barreling down the hall towards the stairs. All I can pick up is roses, but he must have zeroed in on the trail of blood. Huh, how about that? My nose wasn't getting jack squat. Strictly speaking, it's not the scent, but rather the air particles that he tracks. Hence why he isn't thrown off by other smells in the vicinity. So much for that whole nose of a bloodhound spiel. Can it? My nose is what got us in this lead in the first place. Sniffy Whiffy stops at a painting just before the stairs to the entrance hall. Sir Sniffy has halted. Could this be the site of the stabbing? No, tin for brains. I don't see a bloodstain, do you? The knife must have been used somewhere else, like behind the painting. Behind it? Whatever could you mean? Is there a world within the painting? To think the stuff of children's fairy tales could actually exist. Oh, relax, Alma. The answer is clear if you look through it logically. Workaholic touches the painting as he inspects the frame. He then gently taps the artwork before pressing his ear against it. Aha, no question about it. There's a hollow space behind the painting, which means that if I shift it like this... Still touching the painting, Workaholic Detective moves his hand. The entire wall around it slips back like a sliding door, revealing a hidden passage. Sniffy Whiffy, who had been waiting in place, begins moving again, right down the newly discovered path. How did you figure that out? Trade secret. You pick up a lot when you've been trading in the jobs as long as I have. Dang, Grams. Grams, you've got me rethinking my take on you. No cap, I might even like, I don't know, kind of sort of respect you now. Okay, listen. I'm a millennial. What the heck does no cap mean? The kids these days are saying it and I don't know what it means. I don't understand it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a millennial. I don't get it. What does no cap mean? I wish you wouldn't call me that. Still in my 20s, you know. Barely, but it still counts. Workaholic detective turns red in the face as downtown detective slaps him on the behind. Girl? Sexual harassment. That blade was used somewhere up ahead. As we know not what may occur, I shall stand in the vanguard. Wait up, bucko. It's wide enough for two, see? I'm taking the lead too, so keep your eyes peeled. Rowdy detective tries to push forward, but is stopped by doleful detective. Actually, would you mind guarding the entrance with Techie in downtown, Rowdy? I think my abilities would come in handy here. Armor and doleful detective are to spearhead our foray into the secret passage, with me and Workaholic detective following after. Rowdy, Downtown, and Techie detective would remain in the entryway, acting as lookouts in case the tunnel is a trap. As for why I'm being brought along, it's probably because I won't be able to escape in this tunnel. I'm struck by the fact that Workaholic, the most experienced of the group, had deftly assumed the position beside me. These detectives don't miss a single beat. Alright, Armor and I will lead the way. As he speaks, Doleful and Armor Detective enter the tunnel together. Workaholic and I continue right behind them. The four of us descend down a spiral staircase that winds its way underground. At the bottom is a gloomy underground tunnel. We proceed into it, using the light function on our D-pads to guide our way. The only sounds are our footfalls echoing in the tunnel, as well as Sniffy Whiffy's treads crawling across the floor ahead of us. The air is dusty and reeks of mold, making it hard to breathe. Clearly, this place is seldom used. My love of cleanliness aches to ventilate this place. Doleful Detective's eyes narrow as he travels the tunnel. His usual fearful countenance is tense, as if he's an entirely different person. Impressive, is it not? Doleful's intense concentration, that is. Workaholic Detectives whispers to me as if he's reading my mind. Ranked number 14. He solved over 100 cases and survived just as many bloody encounters as us veteran detectives. Over 100 cases solved? The idea alone leaves me speechless. Yeah, because clearly you have solved 0. We can't be that far apart in age, and yet his track record is on a whole other level. What sort of heroic life has this seemingly gentle boy led up till now? What did Doleful mean when he said his abilities could come in handy here? You'll see soon enough. He possesses what we in the Alliance would call the makings of a great detective. Doleful Detective stops in his tracks. Armor, stop! What happened, Sir Doleful? Your leg is bleeding! Armor shines his deep headlight on Doleful Detective's leg, revealing a trail of blood beneath his knee. Why? I mean, he is covered in bandages. Something reflects in the light just ahead of them. Like, look at him. He's covered in bandages. Everywhere. His face, his hands, his arms. Huh? There's something at your feet. My guess is it's a trap to ward off intruders. Judging by the texture, it must be some kind of wire. He's right. When I get close to the reflection, I see red dripping off an extremely fine wire. It was so razor thin and difficult to see that, were it not for the blood, it would have been nearly imperceptible, even in direct light. This is the wire Soul the Detective Alliance is currently... What? The wire saw the Detective Alliance is currently developing. A wire saw? Why would the Alliance make something like this? For cutting locks to enter sealed rooms or as a means to escape when restrained. Word is that it requires specialty gloves to handle. Best to avoid touching it, given its intended use. It's so sharp that, with enough pressure, it could cut straight through human flesh. Oh, it's a good thing I noticed it then. Workaholic Detective produces medicine and bandages from his pocket and begins applying first aid to doleful Detective's leg. This is a rather nasty cut, but you're lucky to get off this lightly. Anyone else would have been liable to lose a leg in your position. Situations like these are about the only time my special skill ends up useful. Special skill? What do you mean by that? For some reason, doleful Detective struggles to reply. Workaholic steps in to answer on his behalf. Doleful is a danger magnet with a knack for close calls, from traps to wanted criminals, to finding murder scenes and even evidence. His innate intuition and powers of insight are what have allowed him to survive such less than fortunate circumstances. So that's how he has the makings of a great detective? In stories, detectives are always expected to survive, even when wrapped up in a personal case, and even when their life is on the line. And now, I'm standing in front of a real-life detective who embodies that very trope. It's not that impressive. In fact, I'd say I just bring misfortune to everyone and everything around me. It's kind of a miserable existence. Oh, I want to give him a hug. Doleful Detective's expression flickers as he touches the bandage on his wrist. The countless traces of medical attention covering his body shows just how much suffering he's constantly endured. Still, it's nice. It's what? I'm sorry. It's getting to that point where I'm getting too tired for this, and I'm gonna have to end it soon. Still, it's made me more sensitive to threats than the average person. I can always sense when I'm in danger, so just think of me as your shield. No, baby, no! I see the resolve within Doleful Detective's eyes as he speaks. No, he's not gonna be a shield. We need to protect. Protect at all costs. I want to protect him. He better not die. He and I may look similar. I might even be the older one. But nothing in me competes with that look. We couldn't be farther apart. Sir Doleful, you needn't be so reserved. Armor Detective abruptly steps forward. He then swings his arm up before bringing it down to chop the wire before us. Armor Detective, that wire can cut steel. Just because you're wearing protective covering doesn't mean... Fear not. The suit in which I am clad is a product of my family's long-held secrets. Behold, the strongest armor known to man. The wire parts with ease. Sure enough, Armor Detective doesn't have a single scratch on him. Both Doleful and Workaholic widen their eyes in incredulity. I'm a grown-up. I can read words. No matter the trap, mine armor shall prevail. Set your minds at ease and allow me to take the lead. But putting me in the front will minimize the total risk for our team as a whole. I can't stand idly by whilst my companions are hurt. Despite my inadequacies, I hastened here to be as an Aegis? What is that word? I'm an adult. I know words. I'm a writer. I know words, but not that one. Aegis? For each of you. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Armor Detective speaks with calmness that eases Doleful Detective's taut expression. Despite the latter's brave front, he might have been nearing his limit. Thank you, Armor. In that case, I'll stay back a bit and keep an eye out. Oh, Doleful is so cute. I like him. Armor Detective takes the lead as Doleful acts as lookout behind him. Armor, I can sense a threat right in front of me. About head height. Another wire, eh? Understood. Without a second thought, Armor Detective swings his hand towards the area Doleful Detective indicated. Chop, chop, chop. Sometimes Doleful's warning comes too late and Armor runs into a wire, but even then it never leaves a mark. We continue safely through the darkness until, based on the signal, the tracker has stopped 5 meters ahead. It would seem we've arrived at the scene where the knife was used. We finally make it to the end of the tunnel with 0 injuries, save for Doleful Detective, of course. Sniffy Whiffy is parked right in front of a steel door, which means the bloody knife we found earlier must have been used right behind it. I hate to ask, Alma, but would you mind taking point? No need to apologize, Sir Workaholic. My armor exists for the very moments I must forge such paths. And yet, Armor Detective looks tense as he cautiously touches the doorknob. Goosebumps ripple across my body. Deep down, I get the overwhelming urge to scream, "Don't open it!" It's as if my mind somehow knows that what we're about to see is truly horrific. I have an extremely bad feeling about this. I shall open the door on the count of 3. 1, 2. The doorknob makes a click as it turns. My heart rate leaps, but I can't bring myself to look away. 3. A blinding light flashes as the door opens, forcing me to avert my eyes. On top of that, metallic stench envelops me. The way it sticks to my throat makes me cough. However, none of the other detectives show even a hint of fear as they proceed beyond the door. I hurry to follow them, but at that moment... Yeah? Somebody's dead. Look at that. Doleful Detective's cry echoes out. What? Who's that? As I step into the room, the first thing I see is the ground dyed in crimson. I'm so used to seeing the blood in these games be pink that it's so weird seeing it actually red. The red spreads across so much of the floor that at first I mistake it for a carpet pattern. But there's no way that's the case. Despite my hateful disbelief, the smell filling the air tells me that this is blood. With each breath, the metallic stench fills my lungs, my stomach, my whole body. I'm assailed by an overwhelming urge to vomit. If I lose focus for even a moment, I know I'll wind up spilling my guts out. Upon closer inspection, I notice something floating in the ocean of gore. It's large and reminds me of a caterpillar. Well, that is straight up dismembered body. 4 other long, thin objects surround it. In a way, they resemble a quartet of lifeboats, all rowing in different directions, away from a sinking ship. But in truth, they're human limbs scattered across the floor. Before us is a scene devoid of life. A man whose name I don't know gazes at me, his head half submerged in a sanguine sea. My eyes are transfixed as I stand there in a daze. There's a biting chill, as if the temperature has dropped by quite a few degrees. My hands and legs tremble. I can barely stand. Every ounce of strength leaves my body, which no longer feels like my own. I muster up all the willpower I can, only to topple over on the spot. Is this all just a bad dream? First crime scene, huh? I know it's hard to take in, but try not to look away. Oh, it's on the ceiling too! Without any concern to spare for me, Workaholic walks toward the pool of blood. Doleful, Amma. Head back up and fetch the other 3 detectives. After that, I'd like you to ask the chief to come to the manor. He sums up the heart of the matter in a low voice. It's a homicide. Someone has murdered senior detective. This is senior detective? How can you tell? I guess his head's there. We don't see it, but it's there, I guess. Regardless of how detached he remains while objectively stating facts, it doesn't change the reality we're facing. A middle-aged man's corpse lies dismembered, his limbs strewn across the room we stand in. For the first time in my life, I am confronted with a murder scene. Chapter 1: The Case of the Dismembered Detective. Okay. I am going to end this part here. So I think that was just the prologue. But I am going to end this part here and continue on next time because 1, I'm tired, and 2, I have a bit of a headache right now, so I need to stop. But I think, you know, it's been like a good 2 hours-ish, you know, give or take a few minutes. And I think that's a good, you know, amount of time for each of these episodes. Maybe I'll try to keep them all at around the 2-hour mark, like give or take 30 minutes. You know, maybe it'll be an hour and a half or 2.5 hours. I don't know. But like, we'll see. We'll see. Because I don't know what to expect. If we solve this mystery, is it one of the detectives and then they're going to be executed? I don't know. I still am not 100% on the plot. But you know what? We're here. We're having fun. We're vibing. And yeah, I'm enjoying it, even though our main character can be really stupid. But I like the other characters so far. I think they said there's even more. I guess we'll meet later. But yeah, that's all for now. Make sure to subscribe so you can see when I post part 2. Because this game, I have a feeling, is gonna be a wild ride, and we should do it together. Please don't make me do this by myself. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.